Okay, are we live? It says we are. Okay, good evening. This is my second attempt at a live stream. It seems that the last time that I was streaming this, the music was a little bit too loud, so let's try it again. Let me preface this by saying um, my intention in doing this stream is because this morning I was very lucky enough to do a portfolio review at the Maine College of Art here in Portland, Maine, and during our discussion with the student, Max, he asked a lot of very good questions. And they led me to a certain aspect of game development that really I'm not seeing anybody here on YouTube address. And I would really like to, bring this out. Hopefully, my audio is coming out. It seems that it is correct. There's a fluffy little moth who is here. But anyway, this is going to be kind of technical and back-end game development stuff, sort of, existential more than anything. But it's something that I don't think is talked about enough, and I know why. And maybe me talking about it here is something for the first time. Needs to be mentioned publicly. Well, for those who have not heard this story before, I started a development on. I know we, my partner here, Laura and I, started development of Peace Island in November of 2017. And prior to that, my impressions of what game development was and what the game development process was gleaned mostly. Well, not the game development process, but the community building and getting things off the ground. Because I had worked in game development back in the days of late 1980s Atari. But anyway, not to derail myself, I learned, maybe how things were done, in the early years of the 21st century, in this podcast by Rapalje All called The Cathedral. It's about a guy who wanted to do game development, but he knew he didn't by himself have the skill set to do everything that was required to develop a video game. And what was more, he really didn't feel inspired. I mean, he knew he wanted to create a game, but he didn't know exactly what. But something very, unfortunate happened in this man's life. And this occasionally happens is that sometimes children are born with terminal conditions. They can literally be born with cancer, and that's unfortunately what happened to this man and his family. Is that his son was born with brain cancer, and for reasons that are clear once you listen to the podcast, that inspired him to say, "This is what I'm going to try and create a video game about. This experience that I'm going through as a parent." And I mean, of course, that's a very unorthodox concept for a game. But, the guy went for broke, and much respect to him. But as the story unfolds with this guy, what he did was he used what skills he had and what knowledge he had to create the first level of a game called That Dragon Cancer. I'm just going to see if I can open image new tab, and let me see, maybe over here, openly, there, open image in new tab, there we go, you can see, that's the promotional image, is the man with his child there, and the IV drip. Now again, this is a very unorthodox game, but he did that first level, and then he took it to that first primitive level. Really, the player couldn't do much other than, I think, pop bubbles. But what he did was he took that primitive first level to a game developers convention, and he showed it off, and he said, "Does anybody want to help me with this game?" And sure enough, some other game developers signed on, and before you knew it, he had a team of a number of developers that were working with him. And over the course of years, and it was a very long and interesting story, and hence why they turned it into a podcast, he did complete the game. And as a result of that, that's how I thought game development happened. An indie person comes up with a crazy idea, and they just push it as far as they can until they can get help, until they can get assistance, in bringing this crazy idea into life. And, and aside from, the certainty that this is going to take me at the very least 5 years, to finish the Peace Island project. That's how I went in to game development, and that's why I was not disappointed. For the first 18 months, we sort of just limped along, myself, Laura, and this one guy in Greece that we could afford once in a while to pay for doing a little bit of coding. And all that time we were working at our full-time jobs. I mean, I cut back to part-time, like 30 hours a week once we got a little bit of Kickstarter money. But the thing is after about almost 2 years of game development, the project went viral. That's the term, let me see. I'm don't want to get ahead of myself here, and I want to have unspool the narrative properly. And now here's the thing. When our game went viral in June of late July of 2019, we were feeling we had graduated to that next level because we got a Patreon support to the point that we could bring on other developers to help us, and we thought okay, we are on the path and things are getting done, and sure enough, things did get done. And development has been, I mean, I will defend our development schedule till on my dying day, but, we're going to get into that later because I don't want to get sidetracked into the weeds. What I want to talk about is that when we thought we were graduating to the next level of game development, what we were really doing was we were ending the gaming, the game industry's development, the game industry's version of what, Cixin Liu, I think that's how you pronounce his name, called the Dark Forest. It's a variation of the Fermi. It's a derivative theory concerning the Fermi paradox about why we as humans have not heard the voices of all the alien civilizations that, I mean, just by math should be out there. And the hypothesis was that the universe is a very dangerous place, and really the civilizations that do go, hey, we're out here, they get wiped out really quickly. And now, not to sound too apocalyptic, but that's what we headed into, and that's what we did head into. Now, I'm very sorry that people are dropping out because there's no Peace Island content. But the thing is, this is about something that I think is important to tell. You see, when we went viral, we got a lot of email and we got a lot of interview requests. I mean, publishers were getting in touch. But, beyond our knowledge, there are people out there who go to sites like this and many others, Graphitron. These are sites that track, the top crowdfunded projects in all of the world, and all of the, Patreon and Kickstarter sphere. Mostly Patreon. This one I think deals specifically with Patreon. And the thing is when Peace Island appeared, let's scroll down. We're way down here, but we're still, let's see. Yeah, there we go. When we appeared here, the people who just sit waiting and looking at these sites, a little signal went off. And when this happens to you guys, to any game developer out there that's watching this, the same thing is going to happen to you that happened to us. And here's what's going to happen. All right. Somebody who at one time had a good, respectable, resume in game development is going to approach you, and they're going to say, listen, kid. They're going to come along. They're going to come along and they're going to say, listen, kid. I've worked in a lot of games, and I've never seen a concept as great as yours. And it's fantastic that I happened to come across an article about your game. Because let me tell you, after working with the big studios and dealing with their BS, I didn't want to work in video games ever again. But let me tell you, when I saw your game, your concept, I want to help you out. And let me tell you, there's a reason why I can't really do a lot of hands-on work on your game. But trust me, I know people. I can help you out. You and me, kid, we're going to go places. And here's what that person is going to do. They're going to string you along, and they are going to suggest that you hire all of their friends, Their friends are going to do very little work for your company. And by the time that happens, and you start to get clued into the fact that this guy is just telling you to hire a bunch of lunatics and basically just whatever's. I'm not going to use too pejorative a word. That person with all the great industry experience has sort of gaslighted you to the point where you're like, oh, if I start pointing out how bad things are going with this guy's advice, I'm going to lose his expert advice. And you may be saying to yourself, hey, Eric, this just sounds like you being bitter and angry. And let me tell you, I'm not bitter and angry. Understand, as a business, when you run a business, understand there's always going to be a matter of loss, and there's always going to be a matter of scam. People are always going to scam you. People are always going to find a way to get around you. But the thing is I didn't realize that this scam really was intense and truly, really existed until just a couple of weeks ago. Somebody came onto our development team at Peace Island, and he started doing a heck of a lot of work really quickly. And he said, no. And he said, no, this is the way game development should be done. And here's the thing is, a couple of weeks later, I started to think, have people been stringing me along? And were there toxic people? And what I happened upon was this tweet by a NFT online game, play to pay game called Dummy Online, and there's this thing here. Excited to share our latest addition to the team. This guy, you can look it up yourself. With a background working for game studios like Vicarious Visions, Activision Blizzard, and titles such as Doom 3, Spider-Man, and Jedi Knight 1 and 2. Listen, I understand how excited these people are to have this individual on their team, because I felt the exact same way when he joined our team, and for months, just issued invoices for hundreds of hours of work, never delivered on anything, and after a certain time just ghosted us, leaving us with nothing. Now, before any patrons of the project, see this and think, oh my gosh, my money was stolen because blah blah. Understand, the number one contributor to the Peace Island project has been myself. I've definitely put mid-5-digit range of my own money into the project. So that was, I consider all the money that I put into the project covering losses like that. But what this guy did was he robbed us of time. Aside from, there was money loss, but it was, again, I guess I just have to swallow it. Now, you see, we have a guy here, and I guarantee you he's going to do to this company the exact same thing that he did to our company. He's going to say, listen, I lend you prestige and knowledge. They do tweets about him. He produces nothing. And in the end, they are going to be left with nothing. Now, the reason I think that this has not been covered on YouTube is by game developers is because it's very, very hard to admit that you've been scammed. Trust me, I know. It really hurts. It hurts your pride, and having to come to your patrons and say, listen, the game has indeed been delayed because I unfortunately let things like this happen. Now, here's the thing is, again, there's always a matter of loss, and I am coming to the grips right now that, of course, stuff like this happens. And let's move on, because we have a great game, and we have a great concept and everything. But the thing is that I wish somebody had told me what I know now. Back when this game went viral, I wish somebody had told me. I don't think this video is going to be seen by many people. But I think game developers do need to be aware that there are people like this, and I don't want to go into names. There are other people that did this that got involved in us, and since have moved on. And I would not doubt this guy. That way is when he went to Dami Online, he said, "Oh yeah, I've worked with indie projects. There was this Peace Island project I was working on. I totally helped them out. I got them halfway to the moon." And you need to be aware. There are sharks that troll these Patreon sites and just looking for an easy mark, looking for somebody that they could scam. And really, I don't want to go on any further because this was supposed to be a short video, and I don't want to scare away viewers by just going on and making it too long. I think that I have made this my point clear. And if in summation, let me offer a summation. If you are so lucky as to have a project that, like ours, gets a lot of exposure all of a sudden, and patronage and a lot of fans, understand there are going to be people out there that take advantage of you. They will come, and it's almost cultish. They will love bomb you. They will promise you the moon, and and when you finally clue in, something wrong is going on here, they will start to gaslight you. They will say, "Oh my goodness, I've met people like you before in my projects." And you're sitting there wondering, hey, how come after 6 months our cat controller still can't jump? Hey, Eric, what's your problem? I mean, come on. I know the best guy. Oh, like the last best guy that is now working on, I'll again say, let's go bring that up again, Dami Online. But anyway, I'm starting to sound bitter, and I don't want to do that. So in summation, I would say to any game developer, be very, very suspicious of anybody that comes to you in these circumstances and says, "I'm here to help you out." Because this guy here, one of the things that his constant refrain is, "I usually get paid $100 an hour." Do you think a guy that makes $100 an hour is helping you out of the kindness of his heart? No. He's sitting there drinking Jack and Blacks at noon, and showing up for the occasional meeting and not doing anything. And, because he's got a second house to pay for. And, again, people don't want to admit that, yes, I was scammed so badly. But, hey, if this does get out to anybody out there, I hope so. Because if you're anything like me, you care about your project. And you care about the people who support and care about your project, And, again, don't let this happen to you guys. Have a good evening, and very soon I will do another video about Peace Island. I also promised Laura I wouldn't go on so long, and the cats need to be fed. So take care, guys. I really appreciate all the support we've been getting on Patreon, and trust me, we're going to have that beta by the end of the year. Take care, guys.